Yeah.
All right, we'll see if this works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you guys ready to get started if it works?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm sorry to make you guys sit out in your van in the Maine winter to do the podcast.
It's the only quiet spot in Emily's house, so yeah, it's the only place we could do it anyways.
Okay, there we
It's
go. Cool.
cozy in here. We have a heater.
Nice. Yeah, so the people that are watching the video can see you guys, but describe your van and describe where's my office now. Like you guys have been living in a van for how long?
We've been living in the van for about 4 years. It'll be 4 years in January.
Oh my! So talk like how did this start? Because it's so cool.
Well, we both went on a surf trip about 6 months into our relationship. I went down to Nicaragua together, and we met a guy who actually was one of the original like van lifers on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Oh man, you guys seem like you have the right attitude. You have the right work to maybe try living on the road." So it kind of just that he said it really brief and quick, and it kind of put that in our. We came back and we're like, "Man, let's do this." We started hunting around for vans, and Emily at that time had a website development business,
Mm-hmm.
and so we had work that we could take with us on the road, and we started looking for vanagons. And we thought that they were like the most utilitarian vehicles. They were really, really kind of funky, had a lot of character, and they also had a really awesome community already built in. Like people go nuts for these things. And so, yeah, we found one, and kind of the rest is all online. Or
Yeah, it's 80 square feet, and it's home.
Yeah.
It's got a downstairs bed right here that folds out. It's got an upstairs loft,
Mm-hmm.
which is
also a bed.
also a bed, and it's got a stove. It's got a heater now, which is amazing. It's got everything that we
Yeah.
need, really.
It came stock with a little refrigerator that we ripped out. It's right underneath the stove and turned it into like food pantry,
Nice.
dry food. And now we have a separate 12-volt fridge that runs off an auxiliary battery. And that auxiliary battery also powers an inverter, so we can charge our computers and everything.
So it's a whole little like
so
it's a self-inclusive little unit, like anything you need.
Anything we need, like the only thing we don't have is, and this always comes up, is a bathroom. But
So what do you do?
there's, yeah, we're in the national forest most of the time.
Okay.
So we have multiple shovels with us.
Nice.
And anytime we're in, there's very clean restrooms, public restrooms, pretty much everywhere you go.
And I do have a pee bucket,
Oh, you
which
do?
works wonders.
You don't have one of the
It's
what
just-
are those like? What are the female like what's it called? Like the sheepy or something? What is that called?
Shiwi.
Yeah.
Shiwi. Yeah.
Shiwi.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like how you guys call it, and I don't know the
Well,
name.
that's because I was looking for it, because the pee bucket thing is a little aggressive sometimes.
It works really well.
That's a good boyfriend.
Like she'll
It was only aggressive in the beginning when my aim wasn't that good, and it got better over the years.
But she'll literally. The problem is she's like lazy about it now, where there'll be like a public bathroom like 100 yards away, and she'll still like pee in the van.
It's like,
in
nah,
a
it's
bucket.
too far.
I
It's
like
like
to think of it as
it's like in
Oh,
Harold
sorry.
and Kumar, when they like smoke too much weed and they walk down the hallway and they turn around, they're like, oh, we've gone too far. We can't. No.
Yeah, it's gone too far. It's for sure.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Nice. Very cool. Well, so like going like when you guys started, I mean, so you were doing like online advertising. What were you doing, Corey?
I was right before we left. I had been working as a guide at a kayak shop,
Okay.
and I'd saved up a decent amount of money, and we had kind of set our business up, the website business up, as I would be doing the like marketing and the person to person scenario, where Emily could be in the back doing more of the behind the scenes development.
Okay.
So she didn't necessarily have a ton of interaction with the clients, so she could kind of just like focus on the work. And we did that for like a handful of websites, but we realized after that with Emily's retainer model contract that she had with a bigger client, that it was a better use of our time for me to
be the van
pretty much.
manager. So
Okay.
the van, the 1987, and it needs a lot of maintenance work, and it broke down many times, especially in the beginning, and it was more economical to have Corey troubleshoot it and figure it out that way.
Yeah, and I mean, in our day-to-day stuff, like I was doing all the cooking, all the cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty much I was making it so that Emily could focus on her work and didn't really have to worry about anything else.
Nice.
Which worked well, but to be honest, it kind of was a little bit imbalancing for me to be so virtually focused in a lifestyle of a lot of movement. So we kind of shifted our roles after the first couple of years.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so when you guys, sorry, go ahead, Corey. What were you gonna say?
No, go for it.
It's like, what did you guys do with all your stuff? I mean, like, if I wanted to go, like, you know, which I've dreamed about this before. I think a lot of people like stare out the window, you know, and just like, oh, I just want to road trip it around. It sounds badass. So if I was to do that, or anybody listening, what are the steps you take if you're like, I'm done with this job, fuck it? What do you do with your stuff? Do you leave it at your parents' house? Do you put it in storage? Like, how much stuff did you bring with you? What are like the first 3 steps anyone should take if they want to join this lifestyle?
I think to start, you need to kind of start assessing your needs versus your wants, like way before you would ever just like get up and leave. I think like getting into the practice of relinquishing material items way before you leave. We say, like Emily was talking about, you give something away, one thing away for like 30 days.
Well, that's that minimalist,
like,
I think, thing, right? The group.
Yeah, like, just start just get it giving,
practicing letting go of things.
Yeah.
And assessing what it is that you really need and why you really need it and what's a want and what's a need, and it's
and also looking at budgeting. So like, all right, so you're going to be on the road. Maybe for a lot of people, they're not going to have the exact same income that they had before. Like, figure out what your base needs are and work with that budget, you know, far before you leave. So you're not jumping into this lifestyle and having to also alter your spending like immediately. That's a pretty drastic change.
But like any freelance work, it ebbs and it flows. So if we're able to live simply when the money is really good, then we can save up and we can have like a cushion through the times where it gets bumpier. So these are the things that we're learning.
Yeah. And what are like your average expenses if someone was to save like $10,000, they bought a van and they had like $5,000 cash? How long would that last for your lifestyle? You know, just a ballpark estimate.
If it's a single person and they're okay with making a lot of their own food and like, you know, living fairly simple and down by the river the whole time, but being conscious of what you buy, you could probably do that for half a year on $5,000.
Nah, really.
You really got to look at, you don't have to, you can live in a van and not drive. So if you can find property or just be out in the national forest for weeks at a time, if that's something that you desire, what are your expenses? Nothing really, like some gas and food. So that's an individual expense. That's a personal thing. What is it what kind of food do you need to to fuel your life?
For example, me and Emily eat pretty expensive food. We definitely like hit up the co-ops and Whole Foods
and dumpsters sometimes.
Do you really go dumpster diving?
Yeah.
Did you find good stuff?
You have no idea. You have no
like
idea.
What? Like, what's the best thing you found in a dumpster?
I'm gonna tell this story.
Nice.
Okay,
nice,
so we were at there's a Whole Foods in a town in Arizona that we spend a lot of time in.
Okay.
And it's a new Whole Foods, and they hadn't quite got their like dumpster thing down yet. And we were like, we found like tons and tons of veggies one time, like filled up our freezer with like salad, totally fine, not even one leaf bad. But anyways, we went back one night late at night to see if there's anything else. And Emily notices a bag, a full trash bag they triple bag everything when they throw it away.
Uh-huh.
So it's like she finds a whole bag of Danishes.
Nice.
Like a whole bag of Danishes, and she's like a little raccoon, like ripping the bags apart, snagging
It's like a little
Danishes
squirrel,
out
like.
of it.
Like
And then
running.
and then the staff like came out of the side door, and she literally looked like a little raccoon, like stealing stuff, running back to the van.
Nice.
Oh, goodness,
But-
yeah.
Okay, so you
That's
guys
the
don't
last
spend
time
you
I
don't spend
dumpster
any money on
dived.
Danishes though.
But no.
No.
We don't never eat Danishes.
No, we
like-
never do, unless they're dumpster Danish.
Perfect.
So,
Dumpster
but to get
Danish.
back to your original question, like we
Yeah.
spend like we eat really well. We eat more expensive food, a lot of simple stuff, but expensive, and we spend about $200 a week for both of us.
Okay.
And that's including dog food.
Oh, right,
Too. And we
okay.
also buy expensive dog food. So you can live, fairly inexpensive.
Actually, we get some slack for that on
People think
on
that,
YouTube, because we did a video the first year about how much van life costs, and I forget what we said per month, but maybe like
it was
a
about
couple
$1,200.
grand. Yeah. So we had people who are very, very, very simplistic, or are doing it for the sole purpose of saving money, and they're like, "You guys are crazy! Like, go eat ramen noodles. Why are you spending so much money?" And our response to that is that the point of us living in a van is not to live as cheaply as possible. We're doing this to live as fully as possible and to experience as much as we can. And we don't like ramen noodles.
We view food as like good old spicy
dude.
chicken ramen.
Yeah, no thing. Like one of those when you're sick or something's good, and then you're like, I don't ever want to eat this again. Like,
Thanks.
Well, we use food as like our medicine too. Like it really, like, if we eat healthy, we stay healthy, and so it's not something we're really willing to sacrifice or drop our level on.
Sure.
We
So,
see it as a way of, we move around a lot. I think, like, we see food as a way of grounding ourselves in the lifestyle of a ton of motion. So, and we eat seasonally too. So if we're in the cold and moving around a lot, we'll eat more like warm and grounding foods.
mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a balancing tool that we use on the road.
Yeah, that's a good call, because you have to have the good food, or else you're gonna go crazy, I think.
For sure.
Emily, you mentioned like how you guys want to live fully, were there things before you started the van life that you guys were kind of, over like parts of society or something that made you just kind of get tired of it and want to do this type of lifestyle, which is a very, it's a kind of a rebellious lifestyle, I guess, it's definitely unique and it's not mainstream. So was there something about mainstream society or the way that you saw your life going where you're like, I don't want that, and that's why you guys switched over? Or what was the mindset?
Yeah, I think my whole life has kind of been like that. I definitely did follow the go to college and get a degree, and not sure of what I wanted to do, but knowing that I needed a degree. And that evolved into a 9-to-5. And I think that's when I really realized that something was off, just because of the anxiety that I was experiencing, and just this like, is this it? Like this is adult life. I'm not happy.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been yeah. Corey has always chosen.
Yeah, I've pretty much
be different.
Yeah, I've kind of
take a different path.
I can tell by the beard.
Yeah, I've been working on this one for a little while now. No, I mean we both went to the UNH, the University of New Hampshire,
Mm-hmm.
and we kind of got, that whole thing. She had a job for a while, and I kind of skipped out on the whole 9-to-5 thing. I went kind of straight into exactly what I wanted to do. I was a kayak guide in New Hampshire and also in California. I guess that would probably be my most serious job. Like I managed a kayak shop. But I just had a desire to travel, and like I knew that the world was big and this country was big, and there's a lot that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And I I knew that there was a lot of ways to make money, and that if I wanted to do this, that I would figure it out. And I knew it might be hard, but like everything, any lifestyle has its issues, has its
Oh, for
parts that are
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like, I guess for me, it was like what I wanted to get out of life. I wanted to do the activities that I love, mountain biking and surfing and snowboarding, and I knew that there was other places I could do that other than just staying in one place in New England for the rest of my life. So that was where it started for me, I guess.
Yeah, and do you guys have any regrets about your lifestyle now at all? Do you ever want, like, oh, I missed this part of, you know, maybe having a more stationary life, or are you guys full on board almost all the time?
I think we appreciate the simple things that a normal, quote unquote, normal life offers. Like, I think that we appreciate a hot shower more. We appreciate how easy it is to feel that sense of groundedness. But I don't regret anything at all. I love what we're doing. It has its challenges for sure, but with that comes so much growth and like love for life and joy for life.
Yeah.
And meeting amazing people and community, and these are things that we didn't have, or I personally didn't feel that much of before.
What's the? Go ahead, dude. Yeah.
I said I can't really add much to that.
You covered it all, Emily. Nice work. What's
Thanks.
what's the biggest? What's the number one reward for being on the road, and what's the number one challenge?
I think the number one reward for me is just being able to like pick up and move and go to the beauty.
Yeah.
Like I know that I can just like in 30 minutes or less, I can have my life all packed up and I can jump in my house. It's also my vehicle, and then drive to the next location that I'm excited about. I don't
know. The natural beauty for me and community, those are both super meaningful. And just I guess like the life lessons that I seem to be rapidly learning that apply to all aspects of life, regardless of in a house or a van. It's just invaluable.
Like what?
Yeah.
You have one like recently, an example? Those are like the hardest questions when they're like, it's everything, nothing.
Well, for example, it's like the journey is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. Like I'm seeing everything as like almost being a mirror for my inner world too. So it's like a journey in and out. And I don't know, like just something like beauty is everywhere. So yes, we might be traveling to these amazing, amazing locations and experiencing this like vastness, but it's almost like we're training our eyes to see the beauty that is everywhere. So when we're back in a city and we're in a traffic jam, yeah, we might get like triggered and get frustrated, but it's like easier then to shift out of that and back into like, wow, like we're still here on Earth and this is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So that's one. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Go ahead, Corey.
The second, I would say, to answer your like second part of that question, like what's the difficult things? I would say like being in a small space with like in a relationship is definitely it magnifies everything. And I both have very different like ways we go about our life in terms of like cleanliness and the order or like
everything. The planning, planning.
Let's cut to the chase here. I'm systematic, and like very organized, and Emily I'm like small details, like every day, like how things are like the operations of everything every day, like getting the food, making sure everything's like good to go. Emily's more like big idea, like a month out, like working on the creative stuff. So from one aspect, it's kind of challenging because we're both we're going about life a little bit a different way. And we obviously have to compromise. But while that is a challenge on a daily basis, it's also an amazing thing because it's like we have these very different set of skills, and when we smush them together, we become like a much broader person. So for me, I guess at the beginning, and still like somewhat often, I get frustrated just because of the differences, but I get to remind myself, I have to remind myself, like,
daily
hey,
we have to remember this.
yeah, like, hey, like, not like, you're lucky to be with a person that compliments you.
Yeah.
Like, in reality, it's a compliment more than it is like than like
attack.
an attack or a negative.
And it's also good because we can learn from each other, and it can be kind of hard to be like, okay, actually I do need to be a little bit neater, and I do want to plan out things better. And it's hard to sometimes admit that, and that's definitely ego thing, but it's an opportunity always to be a little bit more balanced of a person through the reflection that's uncomfortable.
So, yeah,
that we experience living in 80 square feet.
But I will say, if someone is like in a new relationship and they're in like the honeymoon phase and all like puppy, I'm like, all right, yeah, go trap each other in a van for 3 months and go drive and like figure it out. Then see how long the puppy love phase and like the realness of like having to live in tight quarters with someone and learning to accept all their different little traits that you might not be used to in your normal life.
Yeah, you guys must need alone. I mean, like, do you guys have like set alone time where you're like, I'm gonna go for 2 hours, don't go with me?
I think, and then for the new year, it would be great to have that kind of planned alone time in a way. Like maybe every Sunday we just take the day off.
I do it all the time. I go mountain biking.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Because, like, man, that'd be hard, man. I'm with people for 2 days, and I'm like, you know, if I'm hanging out with a girl for 2 days, I'm like, oh, God, this is way too long. Like, I need some time. I need a few days.
Yeah, I mean, we have own activities, and like that's one thing that I've always stressed is like keeping that individualism while we're on the road, and that for me manifests itself in the form of like mountain biking and surfing, and for Emily, a lot of times that's also surfing and dancing and hula hooping and like
or wandering out somewhere and whatever.
Finding Danishes.
Finding Danishes in the dumpster.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there is definitely a for sure time that we spend apart.
It's needed. And if we don't get it as we need it, then tension accumulates. So we do need to have that separation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's incredible that you guys are able to be in a van. It's you two and a dog. You have a little dog named Penny, right?
Yes.
She's not that little though.
Yeah, so you guys have two fully adult humans and a 60-pound dog.
Yeah, 50-ish.
53-ish.
Yeah. And like to be in just that van and like driving around everywhere and just like, shitting and eating and like, doing every single thing about life always together, and to still come out the other side still wanting to be together, I think is pretty special. It's pretty unique.
Yeah. Yes. We need to remember that sometimes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I bet that's easy to forget though too.
Yeah. Like forget, remember.
Yeah. So take me through like a typical week, because I'm super curious about like if you guys visit I was picturing if I did a road trip, I would like see friends for a week and then like go in the forest for a couple weeks and then go to a national park. So like what's a typical like time frame? How is it broken up into like national forest, campgrounds, hotels, friends? Typically, I know it's 4 years is a lot to kind of condense, but
I mean, originally it was like we didn't have many friends out west. Like, I mean, like we just didn't. We hadn't spent a ton of time. I mean, we had friends in San Diego.
Okay, yeah,
like in that zone. And that we knew when we were there, we were going to be like seeing friends and places, but like we didn't have friends. Like we went to Sedona, Arizona pretty quickly, and we didn't have any friends there. And so at first we weren't super privy to how the national forest and BLM works. So we were like in a campground for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we discovered the national forest. So I would say that at the beginning it was more of like campgrounds. And when we were on the East Coast, we were bouncing around to friends. But as we made our way west and up until now, it's like predominantly we're in national national forests, I would say. Like 75% of the time we're in free lands, or each state's version of free land.
And those are like 75, or I'm sorry, those are like 2 weeks at a time, right? I think national forest is like 2 weeks in one spot.
Yes, exactly.
Typically, yeah, it's and we never stay that long, but yeah, it's like you can be there for 14 days in the same spot without moving, and you have to be a quarter mile away from an established campground and a quarter mile away from a watershed.
Mm-hmm. I'd say it's pretty evenly split though, like the past year between going to San Diego for a couple weeks and then going into national forest for a couple weeks. And we've also had some projects that have made us move a lot faster. So we had a video project this summer and we had to get to British Columbia, so moved way faster than we would normally move. And then we filmed a documentary series a couple years ago, and that was a whole month of moving fast. So and we've had other projects too. So it kind of ebbs and flows, but the average is maybe like a week here, a week there, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Interesting. And then like, are you guys, like when you go to San Diego, are you parked in front of your friend's house and you're chilling in their house for the week, and then you're taking off or are you driving back and forth between a campground, or what do you guys usually do?
It's been a mix. We've stayed at a campground. It's pretty expensive there on the ocean. It's like a lot per night for a campground.
Oh yeah.
We have done a lot of stealth camping where we actually scope out a residential street and just
a rich neighborhood. Big fences.
Yes.
Pull in at 10 o'clock and just go to bed and leave early in the morning.
Nice.
We've done that. We've also we made friends in San Diego, so now we stay at their place sometimes, or in their parking lot, their backyard.
I mean, we met these friends randomly surfing and have a giant backyard in just east of the city, and so their fence is just big enough for us to back our van in.
Nice.
And they have this cool backyard with like a teepee and a koi pond, so it's very naturey vibe in the middle of the big city, right? So
that's so cool.
We found the only hippie vibe in all of San Diego. No, I'm kidding.
Like, I smell vegan food. This is where I'm going.
Yeah, right.
I
smell barbecue. That's
God. So where are you guys going next? You're in Maine right now in winter. So where are you guys going to cruise to next? What's the next like month looking like?
We have some body work we need to do to the van. And I have a friend in Oregon who has a fab shop. He's like big into Vanagons, also like amazing guy with metal. So we're gonna go and fix the van up, and then we're heading south back to San Diego for probably a month, and then in March we're going to Hawaii to do a yoga teacher training.
Nice. So you're gonna park your van at your friend's house and book it?
Yeah, we work with a company called Go Westy out of Los Osos, California, and their whole business is based around restoration and parts. On a store that sells parts for Vanagons, Eurovans, and a little bit for the older buses. So we'll probably leave our van there with them.
Okay, cool. When you guys, I think like the biggest question is, how do you keep this up, right? Like, how do you keep it up financially? I know you guys do this, like the kind of like contracting work, and you're doing consulting and stuff. What are the majority of the van life people like in the community? What's a good way for people listening if they're trying to get into this? Like, what are some good ways to be able to just make money to kind of break even and continue traveling while you're keeping up this lifestyle?
I would say probably the one of the easiest ways to start it is a program called woofing. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
I would say that if you want to get out and just start moving, it's a good way to get started. You know, you're getting with woofing, you're working on organic farms, and you're getting a free place to stay and food most of the time. And a lot of the times you can curtail, as long as you're a good worker, curtail a stay into a paid position. So that's one way. But there's, realistically seasonal work. Like if you don't have like a web-based job when you leave, there's seasonal work working on farms
Mm-hmm.
pretty much everywhere. I mean, the seasons rotate a little bit as you move around, but I mean, we know people that have literally sustained themselves for years just doing seasonal farm work.
Really?
And I think that's one of the easiest ways.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think it just takes looking at what your skill sets are and what your passions are and what's available, and just thinking outside of the box. Like, we met one guy on the road who has a knife sharpening business out of his van again. So he has like a whole whatever setup, and he'll drive to salons and restaurants and just offer to sharpen their knives, and they're like, oh yeah, okay, you're here already, sure, why not?
Really?
Yeah, so that's
crazy.
like totally outside of the box. It's not even virtual at all, and it's just a kind of a creative needed thing. So yeah, I think it kind of takes using that right side of the brain a little bit, and just thinking outside the box. So we've met artists, we've met like painters, obviously website developers, IT people, that's huge. We've met writers and photographers, videographers,
We've met people,
personal trainers. I already say that.
Yeah, personal trainers, health coaches that are
Yeah.
doing everything virtually through Skype. I mean, for a lot of people that are doing this, it's about creating your own work, you know? Like Emily was kind of saying, like looking at your skill sets and then making a job for yourself. There's a lot of money floating around out there, and if you can provide a service that people are looking for, you can make it work. And you might have to supplement it with other skills that are already established, or other careers that are established. But there's always ways to make money if you really want it.
Yeah, no, that's terrific advice. I think the wolfing is really clutch too, because I know I did that. I did Workaway. Have you guys heard of Workaway.info, that website? I do that whenever I travel, like internationally. I'll pick a spot and I'll just go chill there for like a few weeks and work on a farm or at a hostel or something. But you're right, like in the States, it'd be pretty easy if you saved up some cash and you got yourself a van, those upfront things. And even if you're building your business, you're right, you could just go for free and work on a farm for months at a time without spending any money, really, while you're working on your own business. But at least you're out.
And on top of that too, what a nice part of that is you're really getting to know a particular area. And that's something that we almost struggle with. We almost move too fast, where we feel like we don't truly settle into every zone. And when you do a program like that, you're also typically working, with people who live there for a while. So you're getting a good look at the actual community there, at the points of interest, environmentally or culturally. So there's definitely benefits being stationary for longer periods of time. But yeah, I would say that's, other than having some sort of highly paid, web job, I think that's a great way to get going.
Yeah. No, that's great advice too. And I think is it easier than people think?
For sure.
I mean, that's a loaded question, kind of. But
yeah, we're all going to have our own journey of this. It's all going to be our own path that we're carving. I think the hardest part is saying yes. It's for, just launching in and taking the leap and knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable at times. But I don't know.
It's as far as like the work side of that goes. I mean, it's about like what you're comfortable with. Like, I'm really comfortable at like talking to people and being like outspoken, I guess. Maybe not outspoken, but like,
you're outgoing, you're an extrovert.
So like I can typically find work like fairly easy.
Putting ourselves out there.
And it's
key. Like,
you'd be surprised how many times you've heard stories of people just like rolling up to farms, or like just being in the right place at the right time, and someone hears that they need work, and they're like, oh, I need someone to like chop wood, or like,
pick my
some
weed,
maintenance at my house.
Trim my weed.
There's that.
Exactly.
That's the lucrative one, right?
Yeah, dude, there's so much of that up here. I thought about it a few times. I'm like, man, you can make how much money in a month? Like $5,000? Shit.
Oh, classic.
Yeah, no, that's badass. God. You know, I have I keep getting like the grass is greener mentality with basically everything, and it gets worse and worse the more that I move around. So how does do you guys moving around constantly like that? What effect does that have on your mindset, on like that grass is greener kind of thing? Like, ooh, the next state's gonna be cooler, or are you guys just in the zone now where you're loving everything and you don't even have that anymore?
I thought I was loving everything, and then this summer we were back country, and I got a parasite. I picked up a Giardia parasite.
Oh.
And, as soon as we got back home, we hadn't been back to our parents for 3 years or 2 years. I got super, super sick, and it just wiped my system and turned into honestly severe anxiety and restlessness like I've never experienced before. So I've been like, well, wondering if like we haven't been settling enough for me, like if we're moving too fast, and that was almost a result, what I went through was a result of that, or if it was just this weird freak thing and it is what it is, and I don't know, like I'm not sure. So 2017, I'd like to feel more settled in places, like feel that sense of groundedness, which doesn't necessarily mean staying somewhere longer.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think.
What do you mean then?
Like mentally
being like just being really, really present and really mindful. So it's just a habit, my own personal habit of rushing that is still left over from before van life, and the 9 to 5, and I guess the culture that we've been raised in, and my own personality too. Rush, go fast, as fast as possible. So that's just my own thing that I'm kind of working on. How can I settle in and be more mindful? And that's what's interesting is in the beginning of the van life, we each had our own separate roles, and Corey was the van manager and I was the virtual online doing website development. And now I'm realizing that I actually need to do these like very simple things. Like I do need to cook and I do need to clean, because they are grounding. They are the rituals that like keep me present. So that's what I'm realizing. So we're actually going to share more responsibilities like that.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Can I clean?
Yeah, I'm sure he's begging to clean. Yeah, right.
That's
we have this recorded now that she said this. So
yeah, I know. I can
I'm gonna come back and find it.
You just like, I'll give you my number, dude. Just text me and I'll just like put out that audio clip and I'll just send it to you. I'll send it to your phone. You can just play it on repeat in the van.
Okay.
There we go.
I welcome the reminder. Please.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I love dishes now.
How old are you guys, by the way?
I'm 32.
I'm 30, almost 31.
Okay. Oh, an older woman. Nice, dude.
We call it, she's a puma. She's not quite a cougar.
A puma. I've never heard that before.
Or a meow.
Meow
is another.
Yeah, what are you guys have like? There's people of all ages though out there, huh? Like 20-year-olds and 70-year-olds just all cruising around in vans.
It's super funny when we like people like, oh, what are you talking to a company like, what's your demographic? And I was like 16 to 80. I was like, I get emails from people across the spectrum asking literally the same questions.
Well, and what are the biggest questions? How do you make it work financially? Like, what's the top 3 questions you get, kind of? Money.
Where do you go to the bathroom? Where do you sleep or stay at night? I'd say those 3. Yeah. Or what kind of van?
Yeah,
what kind of van?
Oh, okay.
We actually started doing this, and we were getting like tons and tons of emails, and I love responding. Like the teaching aspect of this lifestyle was the thing that caught me by surprise, that I ended up like, it's one of my favorite things about it. But I was answering like emails for like 4 hours a day, and it was getting like wicked intense. Like
the same thing over and over, just copying and pasting like the same things. Like, this is how we make money. This is where we sleep.
Yeah. Well, people would ask pretty particular questions, so I had to like, I want people to feel like it, like they were getting an answer directly to the question.
Unique to them, because they have given us their story, so we know like their individual background.
So I started actually, to help with this process, I started doing like van life coaching or consulting.
No,
and it's just like it's it's just a donation base. I tell people I'm not doing this for money to get rich off it or anything, but well, let's get on a Skype, let's get on a phone call, let's walk through your questions. Let me help if you're concerned about certain things. Let me talk on. And it's been great, and people have been super responsive, and we've gotten a few donations that were great, and that's amazing to me because I love teaching. Like that was one of the things that I did before we left. I was a substitute teacher, and I did a lot of environmental education through the kayak shop, so that I can curtail that into this life too is amazing to me.
Yeah, that's so cool. And you like building a little community. Have you guys had people that have emailed you and then eventually you like kind of cross paths and you met up and like? I'm sure it happens all the time, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
It's regionally, like when you're in Southern California, it happens a little bit more than when you're in Maine.
Yeah.
But
I gotta say, I love Maine. By the way, Maine is like the top state. I love it out there. I don't know what about it in the summertime, at least not right now, but in like July or August, it is so prime. Yeah. Like that's in my mind of like somewhere where I'd get like a summer house if I ever got rich. It's like I'd get it in Maine for sure.
Yeah. And we live like 5 minutes from the beach, so we're both big surfers. So we
nice.
Come home, it's like pretty prime time.
Nice. You guys have what 130,000 I think Instagram followers, right?
Yeah.
So do you guys ever like roll up to places and it's like, oh dang, like there's Corey and Emily, like where's my office now? Like there they are. Like
yes,
like they know who you are from your Instagram.
Will come up. Yeah, they'll come up and they'll say, hey, I've been following you for however long. And it's always really awesome. We have had a few times where people don't come up and they'll take like a photo and tag us. And we're like, why didn't you come and say hi? It's kind of weird. They're creeping on us. But
yeah, I mean,
we love to meet people. We love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange thing. But that like that number, because there's we have 130,000 followers or whatever.
Yeah.
Like some people will think that we don't want to talk or we don't want to like show like our lifestyle. Like we're outward online. Like all we're doing is sharing like everything about our lifestyle.
Yeah,
when we see people and we're like stoked. We're like, oh, real people.
Yes.
Come and hang out with us in our van. Like it's like one of the coolest things that happens to us. But because we have a fairly large following, people like get weirded out like we're gonna be jerks or something if they come.
Really?
Yeah, who knows why.
Isn't that so weird? Instagram's so weird like that, man. Like you get over a certain amount of followers and it's like, oh, these people are like Instagram famous or something over a certain amount, and you assume that they don't want to interact with like the peasants or something because they have over 100,000 followers on Instagram or something. It's like this really weird thing now, and it's just like this. It's just how many followers you have on this picture sharing app. It's very strange.
It's like I said, it's for us. Instagram has been amazing because it's just allowed us to connect.
Yeah.
With so many people.
It's a super cool account too. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's like it's fun for us because we never even like when we started out, we had no clue.
Corey didn't want to share on social media.
Yeah, I didn't want social media at all. Like I was a little worried that by having social media, we were gonna it was kind of taken away from our own journey. That we were gonna be worried about producing content
for sure
instead of enjoying beautiful scenery. And then the whole like teaching thing came along, and we realized that people were really interested.
And that you enjoyed sharing what you were learning because you were learning so much.
Yeah. So there was an aspect that kind of like flipped my mentality about social media, and I think for us we never like set out to have tons of followers. We set out to share something that we were passionate about and that we truly loved, and I think it's amazing that we have so many people that also enjoy what we share, but enjoy this style of life.
Yeah, and I think it says something about where we are as a society that so many people are interested in the van life movement and the outdoor movement. We're all needing that connection, that community, that back to nature, creativity, transforming, evolving work. These things are big themes and they're all part of this. And that's what I see. I see, yes, we are growing, but it's bigger. It's like so much bigger than us. It's so much bigger.
And we're not particularly like special people. You know what I mean? Like, we have the desire to get out and travel, which I think a lot of people do, and we just we took a risk, knowing that we might fail, but we're like, hey, what are we gonna do here? Like, wish that we did this, or are we gonna do it and A, live an awesome life and enjoy every second, or B, we fail and we learn that, hey, that's not for us, and that's realistically the worst thing that could happen, and we would go back to doing something else. And that was kind of how we looked at it when we left.
Dude, I'm sold. Like, it's so true. It's so cool because it sets up. It is really like everything that you'd ever wanted of, like, you know, like, I hate my job. I'm tired of being a 9-to-5 rut. Like, the freedom, like, you know, nature, the adventure. You're right, like changing the way that you're now your own boss. I mean, like, it's all of that the 21st century offers, and it just combines it into one package in a van, like everything, you know.
Yeah.
And for us too, like, people always talk about work and money and everything, and one of the main things I think Emily is highlighted for me, her approach to work and her idea of work has changed, where she no longer like totally views it as a monetary exchange. She views it as ideas that she believes will help make the world a better place. And like,
it's my energy output in the creation of what it's my part in what we're creating together.
And you know, I think if you go about it, like, for her, now that she's like kind of changed her mentality, I'm talking for you right now.
I know, that's okay. Keep going. You're doing a great job.
Because she's changed her mentality about it. She's also like had all these opportunities come up, you know, that are monetary, because she's like followed exactly.
So you could call it follow your bliss or follow your passion. It's what I'm trying on my own to see if it works. Yeah.
And it's working.
It is, and it's been really hard, challenging
at times. But...
at times, but it's working.
You're talking about like putting out like oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So it went from like website development, where I was working for companies that I didn't resonate with at all, and then that ended because I couldn't take it anymore, and it shifted to freelance writing about topics that I was really passionate about. And then it's shifting into sponsorship and getting paid for the storytelling that we're already doing, that we're already passionate about. And we're starting to make money on YouTube. And now we're getting yoga certified. So it's like, keep following your passion, keep following your bliss. Even if it doesn't make sense, like where you're going, like just keep going. Like that's your path. Yeah.
And we're lucky enough in this too to be able to work with people and companies that we also really align with. And like share same core values. So it's really cool to see how this lifestyle we can spread even a broader message than our own by aligning with the right people. So
yeah, no, I think it's so cool. I think you both are right that like when you're following a path that like it doesn't make sense, like even monetarily wise, but it's just like, God, that for some reason that just feels right to go down that road, you know? Yeah. And then it always leads somewhere good, even if it's like inadvertently or accidentally. You're like, how did I end up here? And you backtrack your life. You're like, oh, that's right. Because we decided to take this step and like switch from the 9-to-5, or we decided to do this instead of that. And all of a sudden you ended up 5 years later in this like incredible place, like where you guys are at now, like 4 years later. And now you have all these things going on because you've been building it up and took these paths, and it's fucking cool.
It kind of on that same general theme for a second, kind of off topic, same general theme.
Nice. Hit me.
It's the breakdowns that we physically had, maybe emotionally, but also like physically in the van, that have brought about some of the most like amazing encounters with people and growth, and like putting us outside our comfort zone to know that we're like we can push through it. and we have the mental capacity, we have the physical capacity to deal with these issues like as they come. And it's odd, like literally we had like within our first 6 months we had this massive breakdown of our van. It was like electronic breakdown, which in a van again is horrible because there's no diagnostic equipment. You literally have to like plug and play like every wire in the van. So but we had like this crazy community outpouring. We had people like driving like an hour and a half to like bring us parts to see if they could help us. So like with any breakdown, with any, you know, bad thing that happens, you gotta look for the silver lining, you know, and look at how you can grow from that scenario. And that's one thing that van life has taught us. And
it's almost like the more you face challenges and have like the willingness to go through them and be open to them as they come, the more the universe opens doors. That's what it seems like. The more like opportunities there are.
For sure.
Yeah. You start to notice all these like coincidences and meet these people that know these people and this and that, and it's just like mind blown by the like magic of all of it. That's how I feel. It all fits
together.
It all fits, yeah, and yeah. So that's how we know we're like, okay, we are on our path. Like we don't need to like try to do something or be somebody else, or we're just living. And it's really wild here.
Yeah, so cool. I'm seriously, Michael, I'm gonna look at vans on Craigslist like when we're done talking here. It sounds so cool.
It's like the mentality, like we talk about van life, like it's a mentality is what I'm trying to say. It's a mentality just as much as it is a lifestyle. So it's just a commitment to adventure, I think.
And saying yes, like you said too, like just saying yes to it all and seeing the silver lining.
Yeah, because I mean, because like realistically, we could have like gotten our first breakdown and freaked out and like flew home and left the van where it was. But if you have the ability to push through those things and like be like, all right, this is like part of the adventure, like the downs as well as the ups, like and I'm talking about life right now. I'm not talking about like van, like anyone living any life that they're doing right now. And when you're down, if you're going to get through that, most likely you're going to come out the other side learning a life lesson and being stronger and knowing how to deal with something you didn't before.
Yeah.
And van life might speed that up in some ways, but it's in many ways it's very similar.
Yeah, you know what I think what it does, man, is when you're living in a standard house and you have your, you know, maybe a newer car and you have the food that you buy and like prepackaged things, there's really not a whole lot to figure out anymore, to be honest. There's really not.
Yeah.
And if you have a problem with your TV or your Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi just went down here. I called them. I'm like, hey, the Wi-Fi router's broken. And they're like, oh, okay, let's see if we can reconnect it. And then boom, it was back up and running. I didn't have to do anything, right? My car breaks down. Oh, it's under warranty. I take it to the shop. Oh, I want to get some food. Go get it. Bring it home. Like, I mean, there's not a whole lot to like resistance, right? It's become very, very comfortable for a lot of people. And so, which is nice, but at the same time, there's no resistance. And if there's no resistance, then like you're saying, how the fuck is anyone supposed to like overcome things and grow and develop if it's always there?
Right. And if we're not facing things regularly, then what happens when you lose this job that you've been, you know, depending on, that's been your comfort for 20 years, or you get ill, or, you know, things happen. So I feel like this is just life practice, just trying to create opportunities that are outside of our comfort zone, just to keep living.
Yeah.
Just to keep growing, because life moves. Like, it's not stagnant. You look at nature, nothing stays the same. It's all change. It's all movement.
I mean, the whole journey, if I'm going to tell a little story right now, this whole journey like started out on discomfort. We drove across country in January. And we drove across on the 40, which is like not the southernmost, but like one of the major southern routes. We went through like Amarillo, Texas in a snowstorm. I didn't even know it snowed in Texas. But anyways, we get to Albuquerque, New Mexico on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
I was sick as soon as I got sick.
This is Valentine's Day, just real beautiful Albuquerque, New Mexico. And the only place we could find to sleep that night was in a TA truck stop. And so it's 9 degrees out. and this is our like our second Valentine's Day together, and we're in a van underneath a stadium lit parking lot in a TA truck stop. And
you could tell him the full story of that, because that's just funny. You gotta just
we drove in and we got flagged down by a security guard, and he was like pointing a taser gun at us.
Hippies.
And he's like, "What are you doing, hippies?" Anyways, he thought we were prostitutes.
What?
He like I have long blonde hair and she has long hair, and he thought we were like two prostitutes that were like going to.
He thought you were the driver, the pimp, or whatever you would be, and that I was the prostitute, and you were dropping me off to go pleasure these truck drivers who are miserable in their coach.
So then when he realized that we weren't prostitutes, he told us we had to sleep in this like one brightly lit area. And I mean, this was like full on discomfort. We also thought our van was like having issues at that point too. So we're like, think our van's broken. It's 9 degrees. They think we're prostitutes, and we're like sleeping in this. And that's kind of how it began. We're like, wow, this is like. We're like, wow, this is like pretty uncomfortable, like on all aspects. But we're like, this is it, and this is how you. In a way, we were broken in after that. We're like, all right, well, we slept in 9 degrees. So like, how bad can the nights get after this?
Yeah, now you guys have now it's a good story, you know. Now looking back, it's an awesome story to tell.
Yeah. I'm not a prostitute.
I'm not a
prostitute.
That's funny. I mean, a Vanagon would actually be a pretty sweet setup if you were. It's like a mobile prostitute, like. Be a pretty sweet setup, actually.
It's got 2 beds.
Yeah, it's like perfect setup. Yeah, that's funny. Cool. So, all right, tell everyone how I want you guys to go back in the house. I know you're out there in the cold. Tell everyone how the hell they can get on board if they're thinking about doing the van life. How do they connect with you guys? How do they find you? What's up?
Well, we're online. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, all at Where's My Office Now. Our website is where'smyofficenow.com. So follow us there. You can fill out a form on our website, and you can be part of our email newsletters. If you're really interested, we'd love to chat and do the whole van life consulting thing. So look us up. We have a form on our website as well for that. And we do have a donation button on our website if you feel like chipping in a couple bucks for gas. That's wonderful. Think of anything else? And come hang out. We'll be participating and organizing a bunch of meetups. There's a lot going on this summer, so we would love to see people, van or not. You don't have to have a van. Just come hang out, and we'll chill by a fire and tell stories and drink kombucha or beer, whatever.
Kombucha. Nice.
Oh man, just true hippies here. Really fitting the stereotype.
I just had a big bottle of that yesterday. That was so good. It was so good.
Yeah, we drink like thousands of dollars of kombucha.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Oh yeah. Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. We definitely keep it. If people want to keep an eye on Instagram, we will be announcing like when we're doing different meetups. We'll probably be doing some in Southern California, Pacific Northwest for sure, and. I don't know. We'll see what the summer brings.
Cool, and that's Where's My Office Now on Instagram too. So all one word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Stick around for 2 seconds, but we'll end it there. And it was so awesome having you guys on and talk everything. So thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having us, Alex.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, okay, we end it there. But man, thanks. Yeah, it was so cool. That was awesome, guys. Like that was so much cool stuff. I'm stoked to put it up. I'll probably put it up in like. I'm relaunching my site after New Year's, so it'll be up like in January, February-ish. Then, we'll go from there. But if you guys are coming down, I'm going to be in Austin, and I'm usually all over the West and stuff. So please let me know if you guys are ever in that area, and so hopefully we can meet up in person.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, cool. Nice to meet you both. Go inside, get warm. Have a good Christmas. Have a good New Year's.
You too.
Man.
All right, later, guys.